And back by popular demand, XP share episode, I don't know and I don't fucking care. That actually kind of rhymed. So, it's been like 6 months since I've done one of these. I don't know why I stopped, but the reason why I'm starting again is because I just hung out with some of my friends that I hadn't seen in like 6 months, and one of them randomly is like, oh, you know those like old vlogs that you started? Why did you watch those YouTube videos of you way back? I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, you know the ones that you like talk about like some really dark, deep shit that like low-key no one should be hearing about, but you put it on the internet anyways. And I'm like, yeah, that stuff. That's like super embarrassing that I was really hoping none of my friends would ever see. And he's like, yeah, I saw that. It was dope, bro. You should post more. I was like, what the fuck? So, hey, fuck it. I don't like the idea of doing this because my life is so embarrassingly shitty right now that anything I talk about is just gonna make it sound like I'm either complaining or it's just gonna be weird. Because it's like, why are you talking about this shit? Go fix your life, nigga. And that's, I think, why I stopped making these, because I felt like because my life is so shitty, at least from the perspective that I'm looking at it from, it's either I'm coping hard and I'm smoking hella copium like, all right guys, this is just a chapter of the story and it's gonna get better, but nothing ever really gets better. And so I kind of felt like, okay, why am I wasting so much time talking about it instead of actually doing something about it? So then I tried doing stuff about it, and it's been 6 months and my life is still pretty shitty. So I thought, why not talk about it again? And maybe that's my issue. I'm always just flip-flopping back and forth between different things, and I never just stick to anything consistently. But one thing I am proud of is, since the last time that I've spoke on here, I've actually gotten sober. That's right. Your boy Eric is, what day is today? It's May 9th. Let's see, February, March, April, May. I'm about 4 months, almost 4 months straight sober, which is pretty fucking dope. Specifically, weed and alcohol. Alcohol I've never had an issue with personally. I'm not a huge fan of getting drunk, so if I ever did drink, it would be like 1 or 2 beers at most. I never really craved it, but weed has been a huge problem for me personally. I've always been a huge stoner, and I've always been very dependent and addicted to weed. I can never go more than a couple weeks without smoking. So the fact that I've gone 4 months without it is pretty impressive by my standards. I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very confident I'm gonna make it to at least a year. I'm definitely not gonna smoke until my next birthday, and even then, at that point, I might just get so used to being sober, I'll be like, fuck it, let's go for another 5 years. Who knows? But outside of that, I honestly can't really say there's much else in my life that I'm really proud of. I replaced my weed smoking habit with going to the gym. That's pretty good. I started going to the actual gym, and I actually enjoy it, which is very surprising. I don't really feel a lot of the negative effects I think a lot of beginner gym goers feel, because I was still working out before I went to go to the gym, and I did 75 hard. I got to day 68. So already I'm kind of used to being sore and shit like that. Oh shit, I have to hold the camera a certain way, right? I haven't done this in a while. Fuck. I don't care. If you're watching this, you probably got no fucking life and you just want to see me suffer, so fuck it. What should I talk about? Should I talk about my life? Should I talk about tonight? Tonight was cool. I got to hang out with some friends I hadn't seen since New Year's, and it was all right. It was cool. I mean, I kind of didn't want to go because I was just tired, but then I was like, maybe it'll be cool. Maybe it'll be fun. It was smooth. I don't know if it made me more or less depressed. Oh, you know what? Now I remember why I stopped doing these videos, because doing these videos made me really have to reflect on how I feel, and I kept talking a lot about how I felt about things, and at a certain point I started getting annoyed at myself because I think that feelings get in the way of progress. I think that you should judge yourself based on your actions, not on your feelings. So it's kind of hard to talk about just my actions without involving my feelings. Maybe I should try talking about my actions despite my feelings. Let's see how that goes. So I hung out with some friends. Okay, how about this? I felt like I shouldn't have gone to hang out with my friends, because if I was really on my shit, I should have probably gone home and went to sleep early so I could wake up early, go to the gym, make music tomorrow morning, edit a video or some shit, and stay on my routine. Because theoretically, there's no real benefit of hanging out with friends in terms of getting closer to my goal. It's to, at least back in the day, it was because I wanted to do it to make myself feel better, because hanging out with my friends usually made me feel better. But I've gotten to a point now where hanging out with my friends is cool, but it doesn't really make me feel any better or worse than being by myself. If anything, it probably made me feel worse, because a lot of my friends are at a point now in their lives where they're kind of getting on their shit, and they're like having it's not like they're having dope stuff happen to them, it's just like their path is starting to align a lot quicker than mine is, because I chose a really fucking shitty path like a dumbass. and I'm happy for them, but I also don't really feel much these days. I'm kind of numb to a lot of shit. I don't think I'm depressed. I don't really believe in depression, but I kind of hate my life, and I hate the decisions that I've made in my life. But when I think like that, it gets really sad. So I try not to think like that. I just go, well, you're here, so unless you're gonna kill yourself, I can't say that on YouTube, huh? Unless you're gonna self-delete, you're gonna have to just keep going. That's kind of what I'm working with right now. I think about dying a lot. Wow, this has gone dark pretty quickly. It's only 5 minutes in. Fuck it. Yeah, every day I've definitely at least once thought about jumping off of a bridge, but not in like a serious way, not in like a I'm actually gonna do it type of thing, but just like I almost wish I had the balls to do it. But I'm not really like sad though. Like sometimes I get really hopeful too. Like I think if I just stick to the plan that I have for like 6 months to a year to 2 years, I could potentially be able to quit working part-time and actually make music full-time and be able to make somewhere between $30,000 to $60,000 off of music and just like monetizing my small but rabid fan base who, you know, streams my music, who subscribes to my, you know, whatever the fuck I create, and I can sell merch and behind the scenes stuff and whatever the fuck through email lists and phone numbers and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's all plausible. It makes sense on paper, but it feels like, what, I'm 25 years old. Pretty much nothing I've ever done I feel like nothing I've ever done I've succeeded at least not for long enough for it to be like worth it. You know, this idea of like if you're gonna do something, anything that's worth doing is worth doing well. I don't think I've ever done anything well. Fuck. I miss my son. I haven't seen him in a while. This weird situation. I had to explain it to my friends today, but I couldn't really explain it because every time I talk about my family situation, it's just kind of like people have this look on their faces that's just like, damn, bro, sorry to hear that. It's like, bro, I don't want pity. I just, you asked, so maybe I shouldn't bring it up. But then it's weird because it's like, if I don't bring it up, people in the back of their heads are like, wait, don't you have a kid? Like, why don't you ever talk about him? It's like, because the situation's weird, and then you're gonna ask about it, and then I'm gonna explain it, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's kind of fucked up, and I'll be like, yeah, and then it's just kind of weird now. But basically, I fought really hard to get custody of my son so I could be with him because his mom was being annoying and didn't want to let me see him for reasons that are not important at the moment. And I finally did it. I won. I was able to get custody of my kid, and we had shared custody. It was actually really cool for a couple of months. I was hanging out with my son every couple of days. We'd sleep over. I'll take him to daycare. It was late. He was being a little jelly bean, big ass forehead. We'd play around and shit. Shout out my son. But then there's these issues that kept coming up because he kept getting sick a lot, and because the drive between my house and his mom's house is really far, and just certain logistical things that were a little bit stressful for him in general, and for me as well, and for her as well, that we basically decided that it'd be better if for now I let him stay with her because they already kind of have him, because his mom kind of already has a good little family unit going. She has a husband, they have another kid, so he has a younger brother, he has a stepdad, they have a cool little family unit, and I felt like me wanting to be in his life right now is kind of selfish on my part because I'm only causing more trouble, and it's really just to satisfy myself and to not feel like a deadbeat piece of shit. But in reality, it wasn't really doing him any favors because the drives were really stressful on his body because he's so young. Just being cooped up in the car like that isn't good for him. And because I know right now, living in this tiny ass apartment compared to the nice house with the nice yard that they have, and you know, they just have more resources to provide for him. They have a 2-parent household. I'm broke as fuck, stuff like that. So yeah, I haven't seen my son in a couple months. It's been really annoying. I miss him, but at the same time, I know that having him, I know that not having to take care of him right now gives me a lot of time to focus on what I have to do. Like it gives me more time to go to the gym, it gives me more time to make music, to come up with content ideas that should theoretically, in my head, when I first made this decision, I was like, okay, this is gonna suck, and I might not see him for a couple months to a year or more, hopefully not more than that, but I just gotta do my shit, I gotta be on my shit, and something's gonna pop off, and I'll be able to just start living off of my music. I'll be able to start creating my own schedule and creating my own life. and then I can reintroduce my son back into my life in a healthy way versus in a really ham-fisted, kind of selfish way where it just doesn't really work for all parties involved, other than to satisfy my own ego and make me feel less bad. So then I thought this is also good because I'm already used to trying to figure out how to be successful while my time and my resources are limited, with having to take care of my son while also doing music and trying to make a career out of it. And I saw some success while doing that. The biggest success I saw in my career so far, quote unquote career, was a video that I had my son in that went viral, right? So I felt really good for the first couple months. I was like, okay, I got all the time in the world. I was spamming content. I felt like I was doing everything right. And I just felt like nothing was working, you know? I was like, okay, the song is amazing. The content is amazing. All we gotta do is just execute and it should blow up. And I guess the only missing piece was I didn't execute at a high enough level for long enough, but that's what makes me think sometimes, like, I just don't have it in me. Like, maybe I just don't have that dog in me, as people say. Like, I don't know, am I just not talented? Like, am I just not consistent enough? I don't know, it's just, I feel like no matter what I do, I never do it well enough for it to work, at least not to the way that I want to. And maybe it is working, it's just like, I just have to do more of it, which again, it's like, okay, well, if I can't stick to something long enough for it to work, then, and I just give up halfway, then what's the fucking point at the end of the day? So there's that. And I think a lot of the stress that comes from those conversations that I was having with myself around that time led to me getting fired from my job around New Year's. It was like maybe a month or two after I hadn't seen my son for like a month or two. And I think I was just really stressed out and annoyed by the whole thing, because something at work that is annoying, but I've dealt with many times in the past for almost 5 years, ended up setting me off, and I actually blew up and started cussing out my managers, and I started like going crazy and like almost breaking some shit at work, and they basically fired me over it, rightfully so. And I was jobless for about 3 months because I was just a lazy piece of shit and I didn't want to get a new job. And then I ran through all my money. I had to start stealing money from my mom, and then once I couldn't keep doing that anymore, I finally got a job. And then that job was actually cool. It doesn't pay that much, but the hours are chill, the place is chill, and it's really close to my crib, so I can kind of just walk there, walk home. It's not really stressful. But now I'm still like kind of broke, living at my mom's crib. My mom's blind, which sucks, because I feel like a piece of shit son that can't do anything for her. I always thought like, okay, yeah, my situation sucks, but it's all good. It's just like a cool story to overcome, so that way when I get older, I can be like, wow, look at all the adversity I overcame, and like now I'm someone that I can be proud of because of all the bullshit that I went through. But nowadays, it just feels like, it just sucks. Like, it just feels like, again, I'm talking about feelings, but I should be talking about actions. I'm still waking up and doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing for the most part every day. Well, no, I can't even say that, because I'll be consistent for a little bit. I'll see little bits of success, and then I always fall off. Even though now I'm sober, which is great. It's a huge step in the right direction, because before the biggest issue was I was always smoking weed and it would always just fuck me up. So now I'm dealing with real issues that are actually about me as a person and not just about my addictions, which is good. But if it's not weed, it's something else. Like 3 days ago, I found this random ass manga or manhwa called Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. It's very popular. And I got so addicted to it for whatever reason that I binged the whole thing in 3 days. And during those 3 days, what I was supposed to be doing was preparing for a once-in-a-lifetime interview opportunity that I got to work for Apple, which is right next to the job I'm currently working at. So it's 10 minutes walking distance from my crib. It pays way more than my crib, and it's probably just as easy as the job I have now, if not just as easy as the job I've had in the past. And I got a really great opportunity to interview there after waiting 2 months after applying. And I honestly feel like I butchered the fucking interview, because I spent the past 3 days doing absolutely nothing but reading a manhwa. I'm talking about waking up. First thing I do, go on my phone, read the manhwa for like 2.5 hours, and then take a nap because my body is so fucked up and so lethargic from just vegetating and just like laying on like this half mattress, half floor kind of setup. It's just cooked, bro. Just degeneracy. And that, but then like, 2 weeks before that, I was on my shit. I was waking up early. I was going for a run, like I'm jogging 1 mile every other day type thing. It's like, I thought back in the day that my biggest issue was just smoking weed, and that if I could just get sober, I would be consistent. And now that I'm sober, I realize that maybe I'm just a fucked up person. You know, I've started to have a lot of resentment towards my mom, not in a like I hate you, mom, oh my god type of way, but just like I think about how she didn't really have good parenting in her life because of, you know, growing up in Haiti, and you know, she didn't really have a mom. Her mom passed away really early in life, and her dad was kind of a deadbeat that was like in the army type shit, and it was just really weird. And so she picked pretty bad guys to be my dad and my sister's dad, and they were both deadbeats and didn't really. Hold on, I'm about to pass my crib, so I gotta be quiet before I go to the staircase. Give me a second. All right, I'm in the staircase, so I can talk a bit more candidly. This is crazy. This is where the XP share vlogs first started. I remember I was in the staircase, episode 1, so long ago. What was I thinking back then? I probably was so sure I was gonna be famous. Oh, that's another thing. I've definitely given up on being famous. I'm totally cool with just making $30,000 to $60,000 a year off of having a solid email list and a good marketing strategy. Just learning how to sell to my fans. Oh, fuck. All right, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, resentment towards my mom. So it's not really resentment towards my mom, just like certain decisions that she made that affect me in a long-term type of way, which is just like not having a dad in my life. I think as I've gotten older, I probably talked about this before, I see how not having like that disciplinary figure in my life has kind of fucked me up in a lot of ways. That made it so growing up, I didn't have to face a lot of hardship and challenges that probably would have helped me to develop a stronger backbone, a stronger sense of discipline, and just being a fucking man, you feel me? Like certain things that can't be taught by mothers, unfortunately. You know how there's that quote, mothers make men weak, mothers make their sons weak, shit like that. I think it's true. And it's just, I'm a testament to that, to where, you know, at 25 years old, the first time I'm going to the fucking gym and actually enjoying it. And it took so much work to get to that point. You know, it took me having a fucking kid and getting fired from my job and going through all this bullshit just to be like, I should probably get strong as a guy because I'm kind of weak, right? And then what else? So now also because of the fact that she didn't pick really good guys that, you know, were going to be with her long term, and just the situations that she put herself in made it so that now she's a single mom at pushing 60. She's about to be 60 years old, and because she was a single mom for so long, she overworked herself and ended up having high blood pressure, and now she's blind. And now my sister and I have to take care of her, but we're not really equipped to take care of her because we don't have the tools, because we didn't have, you know, proper parenting in our life, because we were raised by a single mom who's just doing her best, you know? So now I feel a little bit of resentment towards her because I feel like I want to have my time to myself. I want to have my time to develop. I want to be surrounded by people who are going to push me to do better and push me to be stronger, but I'm living at home with my mom who's still like, I don't know, just being around my mom and my sister, it's literally such soft pussy energy, you feel me? Like, I know that's super bad to say and it's wrong. You're supposed to love your mom and love your sister, which is great, but it's just like, it should be from a distance. Like, I'm jealous of people. I know it sounds fucked up. Everything I'm saying is so inappropriate, but it's just how I candidly feel. Like, when I see how lazy my sister is with certain things, and how just, I don't want to talk shit about them because I love them, they're my family, but it just feels like I'm fighting an uphill battle because I'm trying to become a man with no fucking guidance at all. And not only is there no guidance, the only examples that I have around me on a daily basis are people who actively do the opposite of what I would want to see in myself, you know? It's a lot easier to become strong when there's strong people around you because you naturally have to adapt to your environment. But right now, it's like everything around me is just soft energy. It's just, oh, are you okay? Oh, how can we make this easier? Oh, how can we make this more comfortable? Oh, what's going on? Oh, da-da-da. Oh, soft energy, soft energy, soft energy. And I'm trying to just like block all that shit out. But then when I block all that shit out, I feel like my mom kind of resents me a little bit because I'm not helping her as much. I'm not being as helpful. I'm not driving her to and from her doctor's appointments anymore. I let my sister take care of that. I used to be super involved, and now it's just like, I can't keep doing this. Like, it just feels like my energy is being sapped, not in like a like my time, not in like a very physical way, but in just like an emotional way, and like I just can't be surrounded by weakness. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm surrounded by weakness. You know, my sister's just super lazy, like tiny things that just like are so easy to do. It's just like, but I get it. It's like it's a woman thing. It's a feminine, masculine type thing. So it's really hard to like develop my masculine energy when I'm surrounded by two strong feminine energies in my household. You know what I'm saying? And then it doesn't help that I feel inferior as a man because I can't take care of my family in any way, shape, or form. You feel me? My sister's paying majority of the bills. I'm barely pitching in. I'm pitching in, but it's like my sister basically is taking care of the household, and my mom's her social security checks or her disability checks are helping take care of the household. And it's like I'm barely maintaining my bills, and you know I'm paying child support, but it's like then I feel like all the time that I'm spending, you know, developing myself and trying to get my shit together, like maybe it's just an excuse to not be in my son's life. Like, am I just a piece of shit that like can't handle it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all fucked up. So there was no point to this rant. I hate my life. I sometimes wish I could just die, but at the same time, I do like the idea of there's still hope because I'm still here. You know, there's this idea that like people will go through bullshit and really difficult situations and they go, I can't stand it anymore. But the fact that I'm still here talking about it in this fucking dank ass staircase like a crackhead means that I can stand it. I'm going to go in my room, or I'm going to go home right now. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow morning, and I'm going to feel a lot better. And I'm going to try again the next day, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going. And I don't know what's going to happen with my life. I don't really care anymore. It's easier to deal with it when I'm by myself, when I just kind of close myself off from other people, because when I'm around other people, I see myself in them and I see what I could have become, and I see parts of myself that I don't know. It's a lot. It's more, I think it's one of the reasons why I didn't really love hanging out with my friends tonight, even though I love my friends. Just hanging around them sometimes makes me feel, is inadequate the word? I don't know. We're just on such different paths, and it's hard to be stable mentally because of how difficult and how much, not necessarily pressure, but just like the scenario that I'm in right now is very different from what everyone else in my life is in. I don't think there's anyone in my life who has gone through anything as difficult as what I'm going through right now. And that's not to sound, I know that sounds super hyperbolic, but I really mean that in more of a matter-of-fact kind of way. You know, they've gone through things that to them are just as difficult because we all interpret pain the same way, no matter how different the scenarios are. So like if a rich person, if they get their fucking Ferrari taken away, that's gonna feel just as painful to them as, I don't know, me losing my job type shit. Like, you know, it's weird how humans are like that. But they're just, obviously they're going through shit too. I'm sure they're just not talking about it, you know, but I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. And I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I don't think we're meant to be happy. I don't think I don't really believe in good or bad. I should probably start going to church. I had a great talk with my friend the other day about God that really convinced me. I mean, I was already a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe everything pretty much about the Bible. I think all of it's true from a historical perspective. I just have trouble sometimes with the idea of letting go completely and letting Jesus into my heart, because it just sounds weird and I have no guidance for it again, but maybe it's just an excuse. But yeah, I don't know. Life is weird. I'm just waking up. I'm just waking up every day. Bye.